How to use every dollar. This is going to be a complete guide of using every dollar from start to almost finish. It's going to take a lot of time. So I'm just going to try to give you the most information that I possibly can about every dollar, how to use it, how to set it up, and how you can actually use it for yourself and for your future. Now, every dollar is going to be a platform that is going to help you with your budgeting. Basically, every dollar's job or their view and how they want things to be is that you know exactly each dollar that you earn where it actually goes. So this way you can be more aware of how you are spending your money, your expenses, and where your money really goes to. Because sometimes I believe we all have experienced this. We get our income and then it just disappears for some reason. So this is just going to help us be more mindful and be more, allowing ourselves to like actually know exactly where things are needs to be spent and where things should be really a little bit cut off, if you know what I mean. So let's actually just get started and not waste much time. So just go ahead to visit this website or just look up every dollar and you should find yourself in here. Now, if I didn't mention, you can actually sign up for free and use it for free. Now, there's an upgrade to the free version, which is just going to allow you to also connect your bank account, which is going to be direct deposits and all of those things. It's just going to make it much more easier. But trust me, the free version, when it comes to budgeting, it should be good enough for you, and you can just go ahead and get started with it, and it should be completely fine. But if you feel like you want to upgrade, it's also going to be up to you. So just visit this website, find every dollar, and just go ahead and click on the sign up button on the top right. And here we will need to just basically create our account. It's just going to be basic stuff. I'm just going to sign up here. And if I find anything that seems to be difficult, I'll show you and talk to you about it. Okay, so after you enter your email and password, you will need to verify your email, and then you will just need to enter your first and last name, and you should get to this page. So in this page, you can just completely skip it, but I highly recommend that you actually fill this in because it's actually going to make a difference in the actual dashboard of the platform, because this is going to be more personalized for yourself. And trust me, it's just going to make a big difference if you just skip or actually fill this in. So I highly recommend that you fill this in accordingly. So what's the most important to you right now? Choose all that apply. Pay off debts, for example, save for retirement, stop living paycheck to paycheck, maybe save for a home, or maybe even travel, for example. So just select the one that actually applies. And by the way, whatever I have or the information that I will add in here is just going to be for the example purposes only. And I will just use them to show you guys exactly how it's going to work. If but by the way, if I didn't mention, you can use every dollar with your phone, and it does have a free app that you can actually download and use. So make sure you do that as well. So after you select this, click on continue. Next, we have more stuff here. So tell us more about you. Choose all that apply. This is going to be your lifestyle. So if you have any of those, you can just go ahead and set them up. So for example, I rent, I have a car maybe, and just if you're married, you can just select this if you have kids and so on. So we can just click on continue once we are done, and we are going to be directed here. So here is going to be where you'll find whether you want to actually use the premium version or the free version. And you can see some of the stuff that you will be having with the premium version. So paycheck planning, financial roadmap, bank connectivity, which is the most important thing that you actually would want to have for the premium. But the rest of these, it really depends whether you want to go for that or not, because the free version does the whole budgeting thing completely fine, but some life betterment, I guess, functions can be only obtained with the premium. So read about this, see which one you actually like best, and go for it. I'm just going to skip for now and use the free version and show you exactly how powerful the free version is. And also you can try the premium for free. I will skip for now and just end up using the free version. So now we have the other option. How would you like to track your expenses? Manually, and you will only get manually if you are on the free version. Automatically is going to be when you actually connect to your bank account. This is again the most wanted feature when it comes to the premium version. But manually will do just fine. And sometimes I believe manually is just going to be even better because you'll be even more mindful about it. But that's just me. Click on manually, or if you did upgrade, click on automatically, click on continue. Now you will need to go ahead and actually enter some of the details about your paychecks and your income. So just go ahead, add all the income that you actually get, and you can actually give them proper names. So my income, let's just say, let's just add a big number so I can just, know exactly what we need to budget for. So let me just do somehow $8,000, okay? And then we have paycheck 2. We would want to add, actually, let me just delete it. Let's just say we have only one income and it's 8,000. Or actually, let's just do 4,000. And then paycheck 2 is also 4,000. Now we have 8,000. So you can just go ahead and add your income. Maybe it's a side hustle that you're working for. Maybe if it's your spouse, you can just add them in here. So it's completely up to you how many incomes you want, or you can just have the one. After this, you can just go ahead, set 8,000 per month for income. This is going to be very important because this is the money that they will be counting for when it comes to your expenses. Click on that, and now we will need to set up our expenses. This is going to be completely up to you and how you want it to be. So here we have, for example, the rent is going to be, let's do a high number here. Water bill is going to be 150. Natural gas, let me just leave this as 0. Electricity is going to be a little expensive, 250. Cable, trash. If you want to add more items, you can also add them. I'm just going to do this one. Okay, you know what? The ones that we're going to leave empty, we're going to remove them. So you just click on the trash icon on the left. You can actually remove them this way. Cable, we can just go ahead and add another 100, for example. Trash, just remove this one. If you want to add an item, this is going to be under the housing. So make sure you have, if you want to add an item, it's going to be in the housing. Now, this is going to be very important because later on within the actual dashboard, we have categories and we want to really, set things to be organized. So if it's anything within the housing, you can just add them in here. Now, I don't believe I'm going to add anything, so I'm just going to leave it as it is and move on to the next thing, which is going to be food, where we have groceries and restaurants. So let's say for groceries, it's going to be, by the way, we can change this later on. I'm just going to do, perhaps, let me just do something a little high. I know it's way too high, but I'm just going to go for it. And restaurants, again, I'm just going to go high. Too expensive. Let me just do 350. There you go. And again, if you want to add more items, you can just go ahead and do them. So here we set 2,750 for housing and food, and we can just go ahead and continue. Now we have more stuff here. For transportation, we have gas and maintenance. So here for gas, I mean, it's getting really expensive nowadays, to be honest. I'm just going to go for 300. Again, the numbers that I'm actually putting in, maybe they're not really realistic, but I'm just going to go for them for the sake of the example. Maintenance, let's just do again, I don't know, let me just do 350. I think I'm going way too high, to be honest. No, I think we still have enough. We have still a 4,600 left to budget. So now we have personal clothing. I'm just going to do a little 100. Let's just do 50. For phone, let's just do 50 again. Fun money, oh boy, let's just do 150. And you get the idea. Just go ahead and set the right amount for these personal things. So for example, hair cosmetics, I'm just going to remove this one, and subscriptions is going to be really high. Let's just do 350 for subscriptions. Okay, so let's just move on to the next one. And we have now more stuff like pet care. Let's just do, I have no idea. Let's just do 60. Child care is going to be more expensive. I don't really have a child like I stated, but let me add this. I really want to try to water this down a little bit. So let me just go 160. Entertainment, really high for some reason. Let me just remove this one. Okay, let's just move on now. Okay, so I'm just going to fill these in because I guess you get the idea. Just go for these one by one, see which ones are actually, try to make it as accurate as possible. But again, even if you're not as accurate as possible, you can adjust things later. And I'll show you exactly how to do that later on. But I'm just going to fill these in and get back to you once I'm fully done with this. Okay, so now that we are done, is going to show you how much would be left after everything that we have just added from the expenses. So it says you built your first budget and have 3,230 left. So you can just go ahead and actually use them now. This is where this app comes in handy. So basically, it's going to allow you to know exactly where this is actually going to go. So let's just click on finish and move on to the actual dashboard here. So once you get started, it's going to look a little something like this. And we are just going to exit out of here because we don't really need that. So here we have the budget tab. In here, we will have the income, which is just going to show us my income paycheck, and it's going to show us the total of our income, which is 8,000 like we have said. Let me click on summary here. And you can realize, or you can see that we have the planned section and we have the received section. And I will show you exactly what this means in a bit. Here we can see giving, church and charity. We can add them if you want. You can just remove them. We have the savings, which we will talk about. It's a little different from the rest of the expenses. We have the housing here, which is going to be the expenses that we added under the category housing. Now, you can see here, housing is the yellow one, and you can see that this is the most money that goes to housing here. We have transportation, which is going to be the other one, which is going to be in green, and you can see them. This is why we should have categories and set them apart. This way we know each category and how much it actually does take from our income. Food, personal, lifestyle, and health, and more stuff here as well. And we also have the debt one here. So we did not set this up because we didn't really add that we need to set our debt, I guess. But here we can just add debt, and I will show you exactly how to do that as well. We can add a new entire group, which is going to be the category. These are groups, so we can actually create a completely new group. So now that we have all of this, let's talk about the planned and remaining. So here we are, let me just move to July. Start planning for July. Okay. So now we are planning for July. This is going to be June. This is going to be exactly what happens this month, but usually it's going to be planning ahead. So let me just go to July. And here we can see the planned is as we set it up to be. And here we have the remaining on the right side. So let's talk about them. The planned is going to be exactly what we have set it up to be. So this is our plan. This is what we think will happen, and this is only based off of our past experiences and exactly what happens. But the remaining here, the other side of the cost here, this one, this is actually what happens during this month. So when you actually go ahead and add a transaction from the right side, which is this tab over here, when we add a transaction and we actually pay off our rent, we add the total and it's going to show us how much is remaining from our thing. So for example, let's say something else other than rent, something that could be a little different. Let's say groceries here. So the groceries, we planned that we would per month almost pay around $700 for the groceries. Let's say this month, instead of 700, we actually did something different. Let me just go back to remaining. So instead of we spent 700, we spent something different. So we did 800, for example. Now is going to be actually different for us, or even less. So let me show you guys. So for example, let's just click on groceries. Just click on any category here and click on the plus icon. And now we talk about, for example, I went grocery shopping last night and I spent, let's do something realistic, 200, for example, too many groceries, and we just spent 200. Let me just go ahead and click on track expense. Is going to be expense, not income. Make sure this is how it is, and click on track expense. And you can see now remaining is different because now we have the remaining as 500. It was 700 prior, and now it is 200 because we have spent the 200. I mean, it's 500 because we spent 200. And again, if you want to add another one, just click on it, add the other amount. I believe it's just going to be 500. Or actually, let me just do something different. Let me just do 550, which is going to be over the budget that we have planned for. And click on track expense. And now it's going to be in red. In red means that you went overboard when it comes to what you have planned for. We have planned to spend 700, but we went overboard and we actually spent 550, as you can see at the bottom here from the actual groceries. So this is going to show us that we would want to, most likely what would happen is if we see that groceries are on the trend of rising and we actually spend more than we have planned for, what you would usually just do is go to the planned and go ahead and set this up to be 750. This way is going to be 0. So next time you would want to plan that the groceries is going to be more expensive now, so you can make it 750, or you can actually go ahead and start cutting down on groceries, try to buy less stuff, I guess. And if you actually add 750 here and you add actually the 50, what you would want to do, generally speaking, on actually how to improve yourself is to cut down the 50 that you added in here from a different service. For example, we added 50 here, but we would want to make this, for example, fun money as 100 instead. Oops, sorry. Let's just do 100 instead. This way, we don't go overboard when it comes to spending. So now that we have this set up, let's talk about the savings. So in the savings, you would want to go ahead and actually start saving. So let me say we don't want emergency fund. You want to do another one. Let's just click on add item. And in here, we will need to go ahead and set fund. So make this a fund. This way, it's actually going to track it a little bit different. It's going to be month after month instead of just one time, and then it's just going to go back to 0. So original balance is going to be 0, and then targets amounts is going to be where like the actual goal for the item. So for example, if you want to buy a car, we can actually go ahead and set it up to be 5,000, for example, and click on save. And you can also add notes in here if you want. So let me just go ahead and click on save, and it should be down here. We can just go ahead and actually edit the name. So you can actually just change the name from here. Just type in whatever you want. And you can see that you have the fund details that you want to have 5,000. So now let's say we want to set this entire leftover money that we have. We want to set it all in here. So we can just go ahead and set this to 230. And now we can see that this changed, and now it's an EveryDollar budget. This way we can, we basically ensured that we knew exactly where our money is going, and now everything is set. This is the entire leftover money. For example, let's just do, make it a little bit less. So 3,000 instead. We will have 230, I believe. left over. Now we can just go ahead and just go crazy with this. We can add it a little bit into our fun money, maybe add it to subscriptions, maybe add it to pet care, and so on. Now, what if the other situation happens, which is not in every dollar amount? Let's say something else happens. For example, the electricity bill went really, really, really crazy and just went to 450. Oh, even $30 left. So let me just go ahead and do 490. Now we can see that we have went over budget. Now this is going to be a problem. If we go over budget, we really need to plan things out again. So you can see electricity went really crazy here. It became 490 for some reason. Maybe everyone just turned on the air conditioning for too long. But we have now $10 over budget. In this case, what you would want to do, generally speaking, for the next month, you would maybe cut down from the most obvious one would be the actual saving for the actual car. You may want to cut down with this. You can just go ahead, make it, for example, to 2,500. And now we can see we have 490 left. We can just increase this one and so on. So you can just go ahead back and forth, see which one actually requires your attention. If it's something that is very important, for example, when it comes to electricity, water bill, and just rent in general, maybe just got high, you may want to just go ahead, rethink things that you can actually cut down from. For example, clothing, you don't really need to spend $50 for clothing. You don't really want to spend 200 for entertainment. Is kind of crazy. So you can just, cut down from things that are not needed for, if you know what I mean. And if you're just going outside, you went on your day and you will have a new transaction. So before you actually buy something, just open up your phone, go ahead to transactions and click on plus, and just go ahead and add to the amount. For example, let's say you did some, just went on, let's say you just went to the cinema and you ordered some food and all of those things. Let's just say we spent $60 for that. So choose budget item. I believe this is going to go to fun money. And I will just add $60 and then we can add split if you want. But I'm just going to click on track expense. And it's just going to automatically go to that. So we can see here, we can see fun money. I believe it did add that to, yeah, you can see the remaining is 40. And if we click on the remaining filter, we can just make it to spent. If you make it on spent, it's going to show us how much we spent, and there's going to be, the leftovers. If we just click on remaining, it's just going to show us $40 is remaining, and you can see also the line underneath, which is going to show you the progress of the actual item. So more stuff. So basically, now that we have run over most of the functions here, let's say you go through them one by one. You go to the actual rent, you click on that, and then you just go ahead and click on the plus. We just do 1200 and then click on track expense. And now remaining is 0. That means it's complete. It's done. And if you click on spent, you can see it's 1200, which is good. Water is going to be the same thing. Click on water. You spent 150 for that, or maybe even less. So it really depends. Just click on the plus icon. Let's just do 150 and track expense. Just keep doing that. Just keep doing that for the rest of them until you pretty much know exactly what is, extra. For example, gas. We click on gas, click on the plus, and now we actually spent overboard. We went 400. Track expense, and we can see that we actually spent 100 more than what we have planned for. So now you have two options, whether you want to plan the next month with an extra 100. So you can, say, for example, okay, so gas prices really went high, really went up, so maybe we will need to actually increase this plan, the plan for the actual gas, and, just cut down on other things $100. And this is pretty much how to plan your budgeting. And really what you're going to be looking for is if we just go ahead and go and set this up to be uh, 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 there you go. This is exactly what you're going to be looking for to make it a every dollar budget. So you can actually just set every single dollar, you know exactly where they are going, and you can always just add items if they are not on the list. This is what you will be aiming for, basically. So, like, you just keep going, go ahead, add your goals, add your targets, add your expenses, and all of those things. And I forgot to mention one more thing for the actual savings and funds here. If we click on here and we just add the 250 to was it 250? No, it was 2500. So click on 2500. You can see now the remaining is 0. Now, the interesting thing about the funds is that this is going to actually be, if we just go to spent, you can see that we have 250, 2500. If we go to the next month, so we just start planning for August, and we go to the actual fund for the car, and we go to spent, it should actually go ahead and track what we have already spent. So 2,500. And if we go to the next one, so let me just say we added another one for the August. Just add this. Just add the actual 2,500 and go to the next month is going to show us the 5,000 and so on. So you're just going to plan ahead and show you exactly how much you have gotten for the actual saving here. So this is pretty much, I believe, for at least if you're just getting started for beginners, this should be a good enough tutorial or just warming you up. I believe this is going to be good enough for you to get started and just start budgeting. And this is going to be a very, very helpful tool for you and for your future, and just generally speaking, not wasting your money, because a lot of people just waste their money without themselves even knowing about it. With that being said, I hope that you have found this video to be helpful, and thanks for watching.